Hello students, this is Dr. Faizan Mirza. I am discussing sympatric speciation with you. Now sympatric speciation as we used to discuss with polyploidy, we are not discussing the idea of polyploidy anymore. We are discussing sympatric speciation which occurs by the basis of without any geographical barrier here, because if the geographical barrier was involved it would be allopatric speciation. So sympatric speciation is the rising of new species without any geographical barrier. Now we are not discussing polyploidy anymore, we are discussing how ecological separation or a behavioral separation can lead to sympatric speciation. Palm trees, there's an example of palm trees here. Two distinct species of palm trees, both endemic in Australia, are listed here, and these two species, they both are present today in Australia, and they are just endemic there, which means they are just present there and nowhere else on earth. Both these species can be found to be having different features. The Fausteriana is actually having many flowers. This Belmorania is having one flower spike. This is having straight leaves. This is having curved leaves. This lives in alkaline soil, and this one lives in acidic soil. So you can see the features of this species different, and the features of this species, the set of features is quite different. They both had a common ancestor about 5 million years ago, again in Australia only. And since these are palm trees, we know they would need a soil to grow on. So the preferred soil, according to for these palm trees back in Australia, sometime 5 million years ago, that was acidic soil, and they would grow on acidic soil. But by chance, some of the seeds, they landed on alkaline soil and they germinated as well. It means that nature already had the alleles in them for alkaline soil, where alkaline soil could be used for germination as well, or probably the allele got favored in that condition in the new soil by chance. And because of that, this high pH, the pH was high, so it changed the flowering season of this plant. And when the high pH caused the flowering to occur early, these flowers, they pollinated, while the plants which were growing in the acidic trees were unlikely to flower at the same time, because they had not flowered yet, because their flowering season was yet to come. There was no gene flow between them, no exchange of genes, because when this individual was flowering, this one did not have flowers. The alkaline soil the alkaline soil plant had flowers, whereas the acidic soil one did not have flowers at all. So they could not pollinate each other. So they both ended up occurring. They both ended up having genetic isolation, and eventually over years morphological changes occurred in both of them, and features evolved which could favor both extreme environments, one acidic and one alkaline. And this led to build up of two different species. This species and this species, they both actually belong to the same genus. So this speciation is a sympatric speciation. We know there is no geographical barrier involved here. The only barrier involved here is actually ecological separation, and this ecological separation is because of a separate ecology, one preferring acidic soil, the other preferring alkaline soil. And we know that ecology actually encompasses the idea of soil and the environment that the soil provides an organism with. Another example we'll take of cichlid fish here. The cichlid fish, also which is known as Amphilophus citrullinus, this fish, you can see these two, they colonized Lake Opoyo in Central America, and this lake actually came into being some 20,000 years ago because of volcanic eruption. And when this lake was colonized by these fish, there were two groups of these fish living there. They both had different feeding behavior. They both were the same fish, but they had different feeding behavior. The behavior was different. A group was living in midwater, and another group of the same fish was living at the bottom of the lake. And a disruptive selection occurred. Disruptive selection meant that the intermediate of the two did not survive. There must be different selection pressures in the midwater. There would be different selection pressures in the bottom of the lake. For example, light intensity, for example, predators, for example, prey, and food availability, etc. So over the time, two different kind of species evolved altogether. You can see the features of both of them. This is Eliosus, this is Citrinellus. You can see this one having long jaws, this was having short jaws. You can see the difference between them. The body sizes varied as well, and they both ended up displaying a different courtship behaviors. And when they display different courtship behavior, they do not mate, they do not interbreed, they do not consider each other as potential mating partners. There is no gene flow occurring between them, and when there is no gene flow occurring between them, speciation occurred in this case because of behavioral isolation or behavioral separation as well as ecological separation. But we need to keep in mind that the actual trigger point here was the behavioral separation, where one group of fish decided to stay in midwater and the other preferred the bottom of the lake. Although initially they both were same species, but over the time they both evolved to the set of selection pressures which were there at bottom of the lake and midwater respectively. That's it from my side. Thank you so much.